back to Newsviews. I'm Mark Rivera. My guests this morning are Jeff Krasanik, Chief Investment Strategist with Fifth Third Bank and an advocate for second chancers, and Victor Dixon, CEO of the Safer Foundation, which helps prepare ex-offenders for the workplace. Thank you again both for being here. We appreciate it. So, Victor, I just want to ask you real quick, what kind of challenges do these ex-offenders face who you're providing this training for?
When you have a record, even sometimes a arrest record, you may not have actually spent much time in jail or prison. Because you're in the FBI database as having been arrested or convicted, when people do background searches, they can see that and deny employment, deny housing, and other things that people need. Over half of people who are incarcerated were poor before they were incarcerated. When they come out, they'll earn about 40% less for the rest of their life. So, you know, they're facing huge barriers: housing, jobs, transportation, not having any resources to draw upon just to start out rebuilding their lives. So one of the things that we try to do is help them with as much support services as possible so they can be as stable as possible, because they have to have that stability in order to be successful in training or successful in a job. So it's not simply just, you know, we're going to teach you how to interview for a job.
Sure.
You've got to really help people stabilize and make sure they have the basic resources: clothing, money for transportation, stable housing. All of that is needed to be stable in employment.
The employers who really do this well, where they have a third or half their workforce or people they've given second chances to, understand some of these challenges and will offer maybe a little workforce flexibility in terms of hours, so people can take care of children or meet with a parole officer. You know, these are things that require an educated employer.
Right.
But there's a payoff. There's some very good academic evidence that if you source ex-offenders the right way, meaning finding those who are ready for employment by partnering with an organization like SAFER, and you support them in the right way, address these needs of poverty or otherwise living on the edge, you get an employee who is more loyal, has lower turnover, is very engaged, and that combination makes them more productive, and employers really appreciate lower turnover costs. That's a big cost of doing business today.
And so when it comes to the type of manager, I mean, you touched on it before, but it does take the right kind of person to manage having ex-offenders as part of the workforce.
I think it's really a training issue. Often the commitment comes from the top. The large private employers are often the best because it's a one-person decision. The CEO owner has to make the decision, but then there's training of support of staff along the way. So for instance, there's a company in Western Michigan, Cascade Engineering, which puts all their supervisors through a poverty simulation so they understand the challenges that people are going through.
Yeah, absolutely. And Victor, I want to just ask you, because I don't want to leave us without talking about success stories. What kind of success stories have you seen through your program and the difference that it makes in lives?
Well, I mean, recently we've been working with hospitals. We've placed our 100th person in Chicago area hospitals and clinics. One of them is a lady who spent time in prison for drug possession, came out, always wanted to be a nurse, now working at VA hospital here in the Chicago area, very successful. Always people trying to recruit her away, great attitude. Recently we had a gentleman that finished a manufacturing robotics training program, just got hired by a company in North Carolina. He's a systems administrator now. He started out making $80,000 a year. They moved his wife and his family and everything to North Carolina. You know, all sorts of successes in areas that you might not imagine. Because I think there's some stereotypes about people with records, and a lot of folks don't realize that these people have intelligence, they have ambition, they have talents, and if we can just cultivate that, help them, you know, along a little bit, they'll take it from there, and the employer gets a person that can do just about anything that they need done. All they need is the soft skills and the hard skills and the credentials, and they can do all kinds of jobs.
Becoming someone who can thrive and succeed. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you both so much. Victor, Jeff, thank you for being here. We appreciate all your insight today.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Absolutely. That does it for Newsviews. Thank you so much for joining us as well. We hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. And let's go back to the news desk.
Hey, if you like that video, be sure to subscribe to our ABC7 Chicago YouTube channel.